Platform 2 just ended, and you probably have one question stuck in your head. What did I just watch? Who were those kids? Why were they there? Where did Perempuan go? What was the system actually for? The movie didn't explain any of it, but I will, because behind that 333 level hell, there's a truth almost no one noticed. The bloody math of justice. The system looks the same at first. Same hole, same table drifting down from the top. But this time, there's one massive difference. Justice. In the first film, it was pure chaos. You ate whatever you could grab. In Platform 2, the rules change. Everyone is allowed to eat only the dish they chose. No more, no less. And here's the terrifying part. Everyone is tied to each other by invisible chains. If one person breaks the rule, someone else goes hungry, and the one who broke it gets punished. The story begins with Perempuan waking up on level 24 next to a math professor, and this man isn't just another inmate, he's the system's living manifesto. To him, everything is numbers. If everyone eats their share, no one dies, he says. On paper, it's perfect math. In real life, it's a body bag, because there's one thing his equation never accounts for. Human hunger always moves faster than logic. The film makes one thing very clear. Wherever there's a rule, there are people willing to enforce it with violence. The system is split in two. On one side, the loyalists, who commit massacres in the name of order. On the other, the barbarians, who turn into monsters just to survive. And Perempuan's dilemma is really our dilemma. If you kill someone to enforce justice, does that still make you a good person? The professor's numbers may have been correct, but once those numbers start getting washed in blood, the math stops meaning anything. In the first film, Goreng was searching for solidarity. Perempuan is searching for justice. But the moment you kill to create justice, you don't fix the system. You become part of the cruelty that keeps it alive. Now, let's get to the part you're probably most curious about. Level 333. Throughout the film, there's a constant search for a child. Everyone believes that child represents salvation, just like the panna cotta and the child were the message in the first film. Here again, the child is the message. But why are the children there? And why are they all the same age? Here's the unsettling truth. Those children aren't a flaw in the system. They're its most powerful weapon. The administration is testing the prisoner's conscience. If there's a defenseless child at the very bottom and you're still devouring each other at the top, then humanity has failed the test. The children aren't little messiahs. They're living proof of the selfishness above them. That hole isn't really a prison, it's a laboratory, measuring the very last traces of human decency. In the first film, Goreng was on level 48. Perempuan starts on level 24, and the child is on level 333. These numbers aren't random, they're the layers of the system itself. So what is the system's real purpose? Who built this massive vertical concrete hell, and why? What is the administration actually after? Let's start with the 333 levels. This number isn't random. 2 people live on each level, which makes 666 prisoners in total. And 666, theologically, is known as the number of the devil. This place wasn't designed as a physical prison. It was designed as purgatory, a place where souls are tested. That single detail tells you just how dark the system really is. And if you like catching hidden details like this, subscribe. Because next week I'm breaking down a shocking theory about leave the world behind. But back to the platform. What's happening outside doesn't really matter. What matters is what a human being turns into inside this concrete box. The administration's true goal is simple: to see whether human nature can still create order, even at its absolute breaking point. In the first film, they tested solidarity, and we failed. In the second, they imposed justice and law, and we failed again. To the administration, every death, every fight, every starving child is just another data point. The outside world is likely overpopulated, drained of resources, and this platform is the lab where they answer one question: who actually deserves to survive? Now let's explain why Perempuan is in the platform in the first place. She was an artist. She created a provocative installation involving dogs, an art project meant to push boundaries. But that project led to a child's death. The film never shows us exactly how it happened, but the outcome is clear. A child died and Perempuan was found responsible. After that, she went looking for a place and a moment to ease her guilt. That's why she's in the platform. This is where the bone pillow we see on level 72 comes in. That pillow is made from a dog bone. It's the system telling her your past hasn't been forgotten. Here, you will face that crime. Even her descent from level 24 to level 72 is symbolic. 24 plus 48 equals 72. Goreng was on level 48. Perempuan starts on level 24. And at level 72, their stories intersect. Now her final journey makes sense. She's not going down just to survive. She's trying to save another child, to replace the one she killed. This isn't survival. It's a path of repentance, and maybe the only way she can ever make peace with her conscience. In the finale, Perempuan goes down into the darkest place to save the child. So where did she actually go? Did she truly escape? Watch that scene carefully. That descent isn't a physical journey. It's a symbolic purification. With every level she goes down, Perempuan is confronting her past, her crime, and her own conscience. The former prisoners she encounters at the very bottom, including Goreng, aren't alive anymore. What we're seeing there is the system's graveyard of souls. Perempuan doesn't destroy the system by going down. She leaves it behind. She crosses into a place where the system's rules no longer apply, into inner peace and beyond death itself. Sending the child back up is the final message to the system. You turned us into monsters, and yet we can still protect the innocent. So what was the real connection between Goreng and Perempuan? There's a detail in their meeting that most people miss. They don't act like strangers. They hug. Early in the film, we're told that Perempuan once had a lover, but his identity is never revealed. That detail is left hanging. Then Goreng's cellmate drops an important line. I've been here for 10 months, which means Perempuan entered the system 10 months before Goreng. On the timeline, while Goreng was descending in the first film, Perempuan was already down there, waiting. And now comes the biggest clue. When they finally meet, they don't just look at each other, they embrace. In the platform, no one hugs a stranger, but that hug is different. There's recognition in it, history, pain, and suddenly all the pieces click into place. Goreng is most likely the lover Perempuan mentioned. And if that's true, that scene means something entirely different. Perempuan isn't just confronting her own sin. She's facing the man she lost. And the fact that Goreng is already dead makes it even more tragic. That embrace isn't a reunion. It's a goodbye. One last hug. In the end, Platform 2 paints a much darker picture than the first film. In the original, solidarity was a source of hope. In the sequel, justice turns into a weapon. The director is quietly telling us this. Rules won't save you. They only turn you against each other. So what do you think? Is that child really a symbol of hope? Or the system's biggest trick? Write it in the comments. Because in this film, every answer only creates another question. And if you missed the first Platform movie, I've linked that video too. Because when you watch them together, the full picture finally comes into focus.